Nearby agent has become rogue. Agent down. Rogue agent eliminated.
Ahí está uno caído en el carro,
Rogue agent neutralized.
Ese es un bien inquebrantable, pues yo te lo llevo, el weón bien inquebrantable, güey.
Vital signs critical.
No, güey, no.
Rogue agent eliminated.
Nah, son mamadas, güey.
An agent from your clan has joined your team. An agent is vital signs critical. Hostile defender drone detected. Killed. Artillery turret detected. Hostile hive detected. Agent down. Agent down. Rogue agent neutralized. Goodbye. Now detecting contaminated gear. System operating. Rogue agent eliminated. System activated. Hostile hive detected. Nearby rogue agent killed. Rogue agent.
Like this, OG orders ride with your bitch. Take a shot, yeah, you know it don't miss. Deep range, my shot go switch. We riding now, windows riding through your town.
Welcome back to another Division 2 PvP build video. Yes, we have a new one. I didn't drop one last week. I kind of let it rest, but now we actually got a brand new PvP clutch build video. And bro, I'm not gonna lie, these exotics is slept on. This exotic is slept on. We're here to talk about one specific exotic. You've seen the title, you already know. But if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returner person, leave a comment. And if you're a hater, well, I literally might have to catch you with this on, because this is what this is basically about, the speed, and I'm gonna get you. So we're gonna break into it. We're gonna dive straight into it, but let's get into it right now, because we ain't gonna make this one too long. We're gonna get right into it. So not gonna lie, this is probably one of my new favorite clutch builds. Now you might see it like, yo, what, why you have those knee pads on? Why you have those knee pads on? Why you got the Acosta knee pads on? I'm gonna explain to you how I came up with this idea, but let's chill real quick and let's dive into the build real quick right now. So first thing we have is Firewall Specialist. Y'all already know why we got this. The only way to get health on kill, if you don't want to use Hunter's Fury, but we're not using Hunter's Fury, we ain't got no space for that, you got to use the Firewall Specialist. It gives you only 20-25% health on kill, and it also gives you that strong kit for when you pop your kit. You get your health and armor back for 10 seconds. Everybody should already know this, but for the new people that's watching this video, this is what you want to go with. So that's it. The two weapons I'm playing with specifically would be the Backfire and the Apartment. The reason why I'm going for the Backfire, it just does the most damage, and this is what you specifically need to get the knee pads to work. So you need to run the Backfire unless you want to run something else, but I run the Backfire, and the reason why is because, like I said, it does the most damage. Dealing damage to an enemy stacks up to 2% critical hit damage up to 100 stacks for lasting 10 seconds. On a reload, remember this, on a reload, apply a 10-second bleed to yourself, which deals 0.5 armor damage per stack. Now, remember that, because we're going to come back to that on reload. Remember that. Y'all already know how the catalysts work with it.
Agent requested.
Isaac gonna disrupt the video, but y'all already know how the catalyst works, so you kind of already get the point with this knee patch. We're gonna dive into it, but basically we getting 200 plus crit damage added on to what we have on right here. Next, we have the apartment. Now you could go with any SMG that you want, but specifically, I've been liking this gun lately. This gun has been really, it's been making me a believer, because it actually was, I'm not saying the gun was bad, but you know, when Project Resolve came, they actually changed up a lot of SMGs, or should I say they changed up a lot of guns, and with the changes they did to the apartment, or should I say to the NPX, it's definitely a hitter. So we got the apartment. You can only obtain this in a dark zone or in conflict, I believe, but definitely know in the DZ. We got damage targets out of cover, perfectly measured. The top half of the magazine, you already know, perfectly measured. We get the most, and we get 38% total weapon damage when we get to the bottom percent of that mag. That's a lot of damage. Actually, I could actually one clip you with this gun. Like if I go to 1.3 or 1.5, it doesn't matter. I can still one clip you with this gun. And surprisingly, I can one clip with this gun and can't really one clip with this gun until I really get the stacks, which is crazy. But that's why I said do not sleep on the apartment. If you got one, definitely try this out. If you don't have one, I guess you could, you know, play with it, play with another variant of it, which is the NPX, and you could probably just slap on, you know, not perfectly measured. You could just slap on measured there, and there you go. You could probably have a similar version if you don't have the apartment. But that's what we're going with right there. You know, pistol don't really matter. We don't really care about that. Now, two-piece Palisades. You know why we got two-piece Palisades? 60% health, 10% armor on kill. Y'all already seen my video where I talked about health. I still stand where I stand. Health does need a buff. I see what y'all was saying, but health still needs a buff. If you want to watch that video, the link will be in the description so you can understand what I'm talking about right now. So that's why we're going with two-piece Palisades. Crit damage. Everything on this build will be crit damage, health and crit damage, especially the mods. The mods is all going to be crit damage. So that's what we got there. Three-piece Seska for 90% health. That's why we got it. But we got 8% critical hit chance, 20% hazard protection, which again, you basically got 30% hazard protection, because you got 10% on your watch. So you can kind of see how it's kind of like you're putting yourself on bleed, but it ain't really affecting you. But like how I said, remember what I said about putting yourself on bleed, because we're about to go right into that soon. But for the chest piece, we got Obliterate. We want as much damage. In PvP, it really depends. Like if I go to 1.5, I might use Obliterate, or if I'm playing with a team. But if I'm playing solo, I'll use Unbreakable, 1.3. You know, that's just where I always fluctuate. And it also depends on where in the DZ we're fighting and who we fighting. So I always go back and forth. So if you want to, you can probably have two chest pieces, or like me, you could just have one, and you can always flip-flop the talents whenever you want to. But that's what we have. Next, we have the Devil's Due, Perfect Clutch. The only way you can obtain this again is in the Dark Zone or in Conflict. They actually had one being sold last week, which is similar to the one I had. I should have made a video talking about if you want one to get one. Sorry, but if you do have one, hey, this is what you're going to do. So now we got critical hit damage, health like I said, critical hit damage for the mod, Perfect Clutch. If you're below 20% armor, critical hits repair at 2.5 missing armor. Kills allow you to repair up to 100% armor for 4 to 10 seconds based on the number of red cores that you have. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to, I could go to 5, and I'll probably drop down to 1 million. And in PvP, we're not really trying to go with that low armor. But if I was to do that, then Clutch would actually work more. I would get more armor from it, and it will last longer, and then obviously my guns will hit like a truck. But we need to have some more survivability. You see, we at 1.3 and we at 1.2 million health. And the reason why we at 1.2 million health, because now we're going to talk about the subject. We're going to talk about the main eventer of this whole video, is the ACOSTA'S knee pads. This is why we at 1.2, because with this knee pad, this is one of the this is one of the rare items that you can actually recalibrate over and over again, and you could get random attributes. Me, it took me like 3 rolls to get this. This is the roll I really wanted, was health and crit damage. Like I said, that's on all the pieces, and we got that. And the reason why we're using this, escape plan. Bolton grants 10% movement speed for 3 seconds. After not moving for 5 seconds, receive 20% movement speed for 5 seconds. Stay with me now. Being applied on status effect grants 10% movement speed. Y'all already see what's about to happen. Y'all already see it. For 5 seconds, max movement speed bonus is 20%. The bonus do not stack with movement speed bonuses from other sources. Negative 50 movement and speed for stats effects. So basically you can't use like the Lady Death and with these knee pads. I would love to, but it won't work. So that's what they saying why you can't use it. But y'all see what it is. So remember what I said, you go back to the Backfire? You put yourself on bleed and then you get the movement speed, and that's all wrong, but y'all see how it's synergizing perfectly. So, and I know you like, oh well, so you're doing all this for movement speed? Yes, because it psychs out your enemy. You gotta remember, I'm a hardcore PvPer, so I can understand this. So back then they had the booster hub. The booster hub used to give you like movement speed back then. Like this was before Warlords. Movement speed, or even when you play with Lady Death, movement speed actually messes up the enemy's muscle memory. They are so accustomed to seeing you move a specific, like, you know, speed, they already know where you always going to be at. So with this build, especially with you're putting yourself on bleed, which slows you down, you actually don't slow down, you actually speed up. You see what I'm saying? So you actually not really out the fight. You automatically catching up to your opponent, and then you got times where sometimes it be you by yourself, or let's say the whole team die, right? Y'all already know people run. Okay, you could put this on too, and you could vault. You could just get mad speed. You will basically always be ahead of your opponent. And then when you get into these situations where you're fighting your opponent, again, like I said, you putting yourself on bleed, or let's say he has a status build, he putting you on status. You're just getting movement speed. You're gonna run around them, psych around them. You're gonna be Forrest Gumping on the person, bro. You really gonna be on some ultra instant stuff. Y'all seen it in the clips. It works. You don't specifically need damage. Like, we got as much damage on this build. Now we need as much survivability. And this is why I was like, yo, with the Catalyst match, you kind of do put yourself on the bleed, and then on stats effect to be exact, and you get the damage and you make up. So I was like, well, let me try these knee pads out, and they actually work. I like them. I'm just here to showcase you what I've been playing with, to try, like, you know, sauce up, to change up the play style for clutch. But these knee pads, like I said, I don't see nobody touch them, play with them, so I decided to give them a try, and I like them. I didn't expertise them all the way. I don't really have too much components, but when I expertise it, I might be at 1.4 with this. But believe you can only obtain, I got these in the season pass. I forgot what season it was, but I believe you could get these anywhere. Just play the game. You could probably go to not conflict. You could probably go to Countdown and just open up a cache. I don't know, but I got these in the season tracker back then, so I have seen them drop. But once they drop, there will be a loophole. But that's why we're going with these knee pads. Like I said, they are slept on and they are fun to play with, so they're special to me. Next, we have a defender drone to soak up the bullets, and sometimes I always fluctuate to go back to a pulse or a decoy, but in this case I've been rocking a decoy a little bit more better, and I actually like it because when I drop the decoy, and if I get the jump on you first, 95 or 98% of the times I'm going to beat you in the fight, because I'm going to break your armor. By the time you even know where I'm at, you're going to try to break my armor, and you probably are, but I'm going to clutch up on you, and there it is. Or I'm going to get movement speed, and then I'm going to be running around you, and then, yeah, you're just going to be hitting the floor. But that's why we went with this. But, yeah, that's why we went with them skills. Now, stats, we got 60% crit chance on the Backfire, and then, what we got? 156 crit damage, and then, you know, let's say we have maxed that up to 200. That's 356 crit damage you have, and once I get max stacks with the Backfire, that's crazy. Like I said, I could one clip with the Backfire. If I get up to a couple stacks, I could one clip. But if I use this apartment, you see we got 55 crit chance, 151 crit damage. If I use this apartment, and if I land every shot, or if you ADS me, I'm going to kill you. That's just how it is. I'm going to beat you. It happens all the time, you know. That's the thing with this build. Everybody see low armor, they feel like, oh, I'm gonna kill them. That's where you get psyched out from, and that's why I love the build, because there's so many times where I get in these ADS fights and people just, oh, I'm gonna kill them, or I got the bighorn build, and they just get on the floor. Like, it just to me, in my brain, it'd be funny because they be thinking they're gonna win, and then I just, you know, with the build, it come back, clutches up, and then now they like, wow, what the hell happened? But it's another way of psyching players out. That's why I like playing with this build or these builds. And I'm gonna keep bringing y'all. Yo, I was having discussions with myself on which one I want to give y'all. I got like 3 different versions, but I'd rather give y'all this version because I've been playing with this for the last couple of weeks, and I think it's about that time to give y'all this version. So I like this version. So that basically will be it for the stats for this. And yeah, that'll basically be it for this build and this PvP video. And as you see, on the bottom, I have the max stack. Well, I had the max stacks. Now I don't have it because I moved. But you see now when I move, I have. Wait, hold on. Let me stay here for like 5 seconds. You know, technically, you know, this don't really matter. But you see, I got the proc, and now I could, you know, do my little movement speed or whatever. But yeah, that will be it for today's build video. Like I said, if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returning person, leave a comment. And like how I said, if you a hater, I might have to catch you. And yeah, when I catch you, we're gonna be clutching up and movement speeding on you. So yeah, anybody out there that's having a depressing day, hopefully this video uplights you and have an exuberant day. And anything that happens in life, you can always outcome, and you will always shine on top if you always never give up and keep going. So that will be the quote that I'll say today. That was my quote that motivated me to get on and make this video for y'all. Was feeling kind of, you know, a little down, but hey, we back up and I'm doing it for y'all, and I'll catch y'all in my next video. Have an exuberant day. Peace.